If you want to watch a crazy old dude try to reinvent himself, you've come to the right place. I'm Daniel Austin Sperry, a composer and cellist, and for decades I've been reinventing myself, so I decided today to give Cal Newport's 4-month reinvention process a try. If you miss this, a year from now, something's going to be happening, and you're going to think, I wish I had checked out what that crazy old dude had to say. So stay with me. If we stay the same, maybe we'll just keep getting exactly the same results, and if we want new results, reinvention could be a good thing. I'm trying this process. This is a live version of Cal Newport's reinvention process that he describes in the video that I'll have linked in the description to this one. There's 2 weeks, roughly, of focusing on what he describes as 3 keystone disciplines, and I'll talk about that more in a minute because that's the first stage, that's the stage that I'm on right now. Then you have about a month period of time working on values that are the most meaningful to you and that you want to keep close to your heart as you go through the process of daily living. Then there's a planning process that is quite well thought out and organized, where you put your activities in time blocks. I'm quite interested in experimenting with that life planning process. And then there is a period of time, I think the planning process also takes about a month, and then there's another period of time where you're developing, it's called vision, and you're developing a flex in your personal area to become more remarkable, and in your professional life to become more remarkable. It's a system that he describes as creating trust with yourself, and that's one of the things that appeals to me. I'm a composer, a cellist. My life is quite varied. I'm constantly coming up with creative ideas that I may execute or may not. And so I need something to really focus all of that creative energy into a step-by-step process where things will come out the other end that I'm very happy about. I'll first describe the disciplines that I chose, and I'm actually putting my disciplines in 4 buckets. One is music, which is basically working on piano, composing for at least a half hour a day. Another is something that I think of as developing the range of my mind, which is reading. And I want something where I can sit down and absorb things. And I've been enjoying that process quite a bit. Maybe professionally, the most important discipline, or the kind of newest, is writing. I'm using kind of the approach of this book, Writing to Learn, by William Zinsser, who was a journalist for the New York Herald Tribune back in the 60s, and it's a fascinating book. I highly recommend it. I'll put a link to that as well in the description, but he's basically talking about how as you write, you work through your thinking process about what it is that you're trying to learn, and it's very important for me to get my thoughts organized as much as possible. So I've talked about my musical process, piano, reading, writing at least a half hour a day. It's turning out to be more because it's a very necessary part of what I'm cooking up these days. And the last one is the category of health, which is of course important, and it's especially important to me. So I meditate and I do regular exercise, and that takes up a chunk of time. All of these disciplines together, I've got a half hour each in the first three categories and something more like an hour and a half in the health category. So I've got about 3 hours a day that I'm devoting to disciplines, and so far I have been able to comfortably do that in my schedule along with all of my work and the other obligations that I have. And that's the point of the first 2 weeks, is to just get comfortable with what you can do. You don't have to do anything like that. If you had 3 disciplines that take a half hour each day, you're done with an hour and a half of time. It's up to you to decide what you want to anchor your life to. But I am finding it extremely satisfying to have those things as touch points for every single day. The next stage is values, and that's what the next video that I offer in this series is going to be about. My exploration of values, which, based on this reinvention plan, should take a span of time over a course of a month. Quick story about my life. It'll be the 13th season this year playing cello in a beautiful park in this wonderful little resort town that is mostly gathered around the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. So during the warm months, there are many people that come through, and many people who walk through this park, which is right next to the main plaza of the town. And I've been playing my cello, my own music, mostly a few covers, for many years, and it's an absolutely delightful experience. I cannot even begin to describe the satisfaction that I have received from doing this. But this last year, I determined that I really need to focus more on my composing, which I've been also doing for many years. I create musical portraits, which are commissioned pieces that a person may want to give as a gift or to celebrate some sort of occasion or a passage in their lives. More and more, I want that to be the central part of my activity, because I cannot necessarily depend on forever being able to play my cello in the park on into the future. I have envisioned one day playing in a state of rapt enjoyment and then just falling over on the ground, having a massive heart attack, and that's my beautiful ending to my story. But more and more I'm thinking maybe that doesn't have to be the beautiful ending to my story. So the purpose of the Reinvent for me is to really develop the chops of living to manifest a whole new way of sustaining myself. So the question is, can a person like me make waves on YouTube? That is yet to be discovered. This hasn't been too painful, so I expect to be back, and I hope you'll join me next time when I talk about the values portion of Cal Newport's Reinvent Your Life in 4 Months process. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video.